What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? Thank you guys for tuning in to the Voice of the Fans podcast. Once again, got my man Cleveland Steele in the house. Thank you. Welcome back to the show, big guy. How's it going?
What's happening? Doing great, Cam. How about yourself?
Oh man, if you can take away these couple of days of rain, man, the weather been up here been kind of splendid, man. I have to commend you guys.
Oh, for sure, man. I mean, when the sun's shining, Seattle's the greatest place on planet Earth.
One of them. It's one of the most beautiful places on earth. Man, we got a lot going on. It's this time of the year, if I remember correctly. This is one of the things you claim that you're most familiar with, right?
This is my favorite time of the year. Yes.
Why would you say that? And go ahead and expound on that for those who don't know.
Oh, for sure. It's because, as the great Kenny Smith says, during the regular season is where you make your name, but during the playoffs is where you make your fame. And I'm just, I have a blueprint and a platform to how you get a championship, and just, I just love the fact you just roll the ball out and find out how it's gonna, unfold. Great.
Just roll the ball out. Is that what your Lakers been doing against the Minnesota Timberwolves? Just rolling the ball out and letting
it's 1-1.
Well, I'm just asking. Is that why it's 1-1? Because they just rolled the ball out?
No, it's 1-1 because the Minnesota Timberwolves hit 50% from the 3-point line, 21 for 42 the first game. Nothing like that the second game. Hence, we have a 1-1, series.
Well, how do you expect this to go? I'm not sure that you was able to give your prognostication on these airwaves. How would you expect this series to go?
Oh, 4-2. 4-2 Lakers. Yeah.
4-2 Lakers.
Yeah.
Okay, well, at least you're giving the Timberwolves some kind of credit. What do you think about you say, to use your term or Kenny Smith's term, if you want to be specific about it, the playoff regular season is where you prepare your game. The playoff is where you make your fame.
The regular season is where you make your name. The playoffs is where you make your fame.
Okay.
And it was so refreshing to hear Reggie Miller. Basically, I swear to goodness, it's like he logged on to the voiceofthefans.org and read my article on what it takes to make a champion, which is why he was not believing in Houston, because they have a lot of I'm sorry, I will let you
No, go ahead, please go. I see you're raring to go. You got a lot to get off your chest. Go ahead. I want to hear.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, what is Houston's problem? It's not Amen. It's not Sagoon. It's that they don't have a go-to guy. And he kept saying that over and over again. You need someone that, you can depend on to get a bucket whenever, and they don't have one of those.
Okay, well, we know that Phoenix had 3 of those guys. So does that work if you have one of those guys all the time?
Phoenix did not have 3 of those guys. Bradley Beal doesn't count as one of those guys. And those other 2 players were hurt quite often, so no.
Oh, so that's a sometimey thing. Okay, so we have one guy in Denver who's all by himself. He's one of those guys, right? You have to say he's one of those guys. He's got playing his lonesome in Denver. So going back to your that's going to test a couple of your theories. Your coaching doesn't matter theory, and just roll the ball out theory. Because if you just roll the ball out for Denver, they have to do a little bit more than rolling those guys out. Would you say? And that one guy who's playing all by him lonesome up there, he's kind of challenged. Why do you think he's so challenged?
Well, Cam, he's doing a lot. It is a much different scenario with regards to, firing the coach a week before the playoffs starts. That's it's kind of weird. But even still, they were not prepared for Kawhi Leonard having a 2019 out of body experience and getting to all his spots and looking like Kawhi Leonard.
Out of body experience? What are you talking about? That's him. You just said Mitch looking like Kawhi Leonard. We just haven't seen it in a little while. What are you talking about? Out of body experience? That's
out
him.
Of body experience. When's the last time you seen that? I said 2019. When's the last time you seen it?
I haven't seen it in the Clippers uniform. I'll put it like that.
Okay.
He played in that game. That game 2 was just. It was the best version I've seen of Kawhi Leonard in the Clippers uniform by far. There's no question about it. But that's not what I'm getting at. You said you like to talk about it. You have to have one of those guys. You're not going to count Harden as one of those guys. If you say Bradley Beal doesn't count on one of those guys, you can't possibly count James Harden as one of those guys. If I'm mistaken, if I know you like I think I know you, right? You can't count James Harden, so that means Kawhi Leonard is alone. But so we're looking at two guys going mano and mano, according to Mr. Cleveland, correct? With the ref just in kind of in the way, and the rest of the 4 guys in the way. Would you agree to that statement?
Yeah, we'll go with that. Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm glad. I still don't have my soundboard quite yet, fans, but it's coming. Believe me, it's coming. And thanks for being on the show, Cleveland. The fans have missed you on the show. If you're going to go with Denver and the Clippers, or essentially Kawhi Leonard and Nikola Jokic going one-on-one, mano-a-mano, is going to come down to what, Cleveland? It's going to come down to the others who you don't want to give any credit for doing anything in any game, in any matter, in any championship form. But this game, this series is going to come down to the others, like James Harden, like your guy who you say matters, one of the guys who matter the most in the NBA is your guy from Denver. What's your guy?
Jamal Murray.
Jamal Murray is going to come down to him. It's going to come down to your guy, Michael Porter Jr. and Norman Powell. And then I know you don't want to. I try to educate you months ago. For years I've been trying this. Fans have been bumping my head against the wall. But even months ago, I put it out on Black and White Forum. Send him a link, and I try to tell you all about Ivica Zubac. Oh, good article. I still don't think he's an all-star. That's what your words exactly. Am I correct or not? Correct. Would you do now have to give Ivica Zubac some credit now?
I'm sure he put up relative stats to be an all-star, and that's great. And so now here we are in the playoffs, and he's playing against 3-time MVP Nikola Jokic.
And how do you like the way this series is matching up just so far?
It's been entertaining and interesting. I mean, all the games have come down to last second shots, which is kind of crazy. Considering they have to now go back to Los Angeles and play those next 2 games, so we'll see what happens. But
well, to be more specific, they're going to Inglewood and they're going to play in the Intuit Dome, which the Clippers are undefeated in. I might add, they're undefeated in the playoffs in the Intuit Dome. Undefeated in the playoffs. They've never lost in that stadium during the NBA playoffs, and so now they're.
Sorry, when did they play in the Intuit Dome before?
Well, it's a new stadium and it's a new record, but they start off.
So they're 0-0. Oh, yeah, they are undefeated. Oh, wow, you were Yeah, you thought you lost me there for a second, huh? Thought you was going to sweep that out of the rag.
They are under the. Did I say anything infactual? They're still undefeated going into this weekend's games.
You did not. You just failed to mention the part that they actually haven't played a game in the Intuit Dome. So,
well, here we come. Here we come now. They're going to play the first game.
They have no record actually.
Well, undefeated is, and again, still being undefeated, but that's semantics, okay? Right now, we have Kawhi coming off a game where he's 78% field goal percentage. When have you heard of such a thing? 78%.
Maybe never.
And this wasn't like big Shaq Fu dunking everything was in the paint. This is 3-pointers. This is spotting up, and this is pulling up on you. Like this is getting steals and dunks on the return. Like come on now, you have to give Kawhi some credit. He's balling the other night. Well, he's balling in both games, but the other night specifically, you have to. I know you don't want to give him credit for doing anything, but I mean, you try to crap on the man for wanting to protect his family during the fires. He had to go home and take care of his family. He had to put the fireman hat on and make sure they had all the foam fire protecting on the home. But you want to give the man a hard time for that. So now you're forced to give Kawhi an apology right now on air.
No apologies because I don't know if you heard, he said his leg hurts.
No. See, now you're making stuff up. Now you just okay.
He's questionable for game.
Okay. So now
extremely questionable for game 4. That's what I heard. Word on the street.
Is that the word on the street?
Word on the street.
So what do you think? How do you expect the series to finish up? It's 1-1 right now. Like you say, they're going back to LA. So LA does have the Clippers. They do have the kind of home court advantage. If you say, do you expect them to split in Inglewood?
Yeah, it's going to be a knockdown, drag out. It's going 7.
It's going 7. He says.
Going 7.
Okay. What are your thoughts on the Thunder now? You didn't want to give them no credit all season long. You didn't want to give them no credit. You didn't believe in them. The Thunder, they're too young. They haven't done it yet. They have to prove it to you. Now that they set the record for the largest opening playoff victory margin, 50 points by a playoff team. This is a team in the NBA playoffs. You know the NBA. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this, Cleveland, but they have what they call it now. They started this thing called the play-in tournament, where they, instead of the playoffs only being 8 teams available, they make it eligible to like 10 teams, and then they play in. They have a little tournament right before the playoffs, and so that team, the first round of the playoffs, they're playing a team who's already in rhythm, who's already in playoff motion. Well, they've been sitting at home, concerned with rust because they haven't played in a week. They put 50 points on that. Cleveland, you haven't heard of anything like that in your lifetime. I know, because it hasn't happened in your lifetime. You got any apology for Mr. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the league's MVP?
No, I don't have any apologies, man. Great win that first game. And they're playing well. They absolutely looked the part. I don't know if you heard this part. Word on the street is that John Morant is taking those same pain medication pills that Sean Merriman was taking when he tore his ACL and tried to play a full season on it. So it's pretty powerful stuff, and he's just not himself.
Oh, I mean, Desmond Bain, Jaren Jackson.
Oh, your guy Desmond Bain. And let's recap on that, Cam. Remember when Desmond Bain got all full of himself and said the Memphis Grizzlies were capable of winning a championship? What'd you tell Desmond Bain?
I just gave him a follow-up question.
No. You pulled him aside. You said, son. I just want to talk to you for a minute. And what'd you tell him, Cam?
I mean, we just had to have a conversation. Like
you said, son, this is not a roster that can win a championship.
But he was confident. Athletes have a different type of confidence.
You're a little over your skis, and you need to pull it back.
Well, that was a few years now. Desmond
and now they're playing on a coach they've had for like 16 days. A bunch of broke up players. They're not going to win this series.
Well, they have no. They're playing Oklahoma City. They're playing Oklahoma City Thunder. That's why they're not going to win this series. It's not like if everything was perfect. If Taylor Jenkins was there, they would win the series. They still wouldn't have won the series. It's just because they're playing a much better team. Golden State has 16 points going into the final minute of the first quarter. I guess they feel like they really was done something by stealing the first game. Did you hear that? They got 16 points in the first quarter.
They take care of business. They did what they came to do already in the first game. So
Oh,
yeah,
so it's already over.
already over.
So they giving that one up. Okay, all right. That's how you guys do it. Um, the Lakers and Timberwolves. I don't. I'm not sure. I'm sure you had the Lakers going into it. I actually surprisingly had the Lakers beating the Timberwolves. I don't believe. I just don't believe in the Timberwolves. Um, that's pretty much it. You got Julius Randle is now. I wasn't a fan of Karl Anthony Towns, and we're gonna get to what he's doing in New York, but I wasn't a fan of his per se. But that two-headed monster, 2 7-footers, was that was something that other teams had to deal with, contend with. Like it was your identity, and to separate that and nobody else step up but Anthony Edwards. Like he hasn't. I don't know if they're expecting him to do everything, but he hasn't done enough. If they're expecting him to maybe they're expecting him to take the next step. Maybe you have a better answer on that than I do. But I wasn't expecting the Timberwolves to win this series either way. But what's your thoughts on kind of their makeup of their team and squeeze? They had to play in the play-in tournament. Was that a successful trade? Would you do that trade again? DiVincenzo and Randall for Karl Anthony Towns. Would you do that trade again? Understanding where they finished in the. I mean, obviously, if they go on to win the championship, you do that trade 100 times. You make that trade, but I don't have them winning this series, let alone winning the championship. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, the trade was for the future chance. It was to get from underneath that tremendous contract to Karl Anthony Towns, which they know that he couldn't fulfill. So yeah, get out of that as quickly as is humanly possible. And the Timberwolves are what they are. And they're a highlight reel. I want to say that Ant Edwards is like, human highlight film 2.0. You're going to see some amazing things. You're going to see him dunk on some people viciously. You're going to see him hit a bunch of threes in a game or two. But it's not something that's sustainable. There's no consistency to his game. It's peaks and valleys of greatness. And, Game 1, it was pretty cool. Game 2, not so much. We'll go to Minnesota. It'll be a ruckus crowd. We'll see if he can maintain it.
Well, I think, again, without diving in this too much, your refusal to give credit to the others, Naz Reid is going to be the guy who's going to have to step up. In the first game,
okay, well, that first game, that 21 for 42 was great. Where was that in the second game?
No, I'm just saying he's going to have to step up. He's going to have that 25 points he had in game 1 to 10 in game 2. Like, that's a difference.
Okay, well, Cameron, it's the playoffs in the Western Conference of the National Basketball Association. Okay.
Yeah, and he shined night 1 in Los Angeles on the bright nights of Los Angeles.
Night 1? Did he?
But there's
right? I believe JD and Daniels came through with like 11 for 13. It was amazing.
I know. Again, a combination of these guys shine night 1, but you got to recognize there's multiple nights in this.
So game 2, we can roll the ball out and see what's up.
Game, well, I mean, you knew you had the refs on your side.
Luka Doncic and LeBron
after going down on the other side. Let me look at this disparity. After going down 0-1 in the series,
you stat me to death.
No. I just want to clarify something.
Yeah,
I just want to clarify something. After going down 0-1 in your series, everybody knew that they were going to win the advantage with the going to the free throw line. That was a no-brainer. That they're going to win that free throw advantage. And what was I didn't even look at the stats, fan. I'm not looking at the stats until right now, this moment, and I guarantee it was. Oh, look at this! Surprise, surprise! Look at this. It was 25 free throws, Minnesota to 20 free throws for the Lakers. Look at that Minnesota staying hungry. This is where you had to be. You were surprised that they didn't have more free throws than Minnesota in that game. You had to be
No,
surprised.
I'm not surprised about anything about this series so far. We'll go to Minnesota and we'll see what's up.
The Rockets and the Wizards. Can the Rockets win 2 games this series?
The Rockets and the Warriors. Yes.
What did I say? Who did I say?
You said the Wizards.
Oh,
the Rockets and the Warriors. Yes. The Rockets can win 2 games potentially. Start with the second one at home
tonight.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll see if they stand up. I mean, the Rockets. My theory on youth is the Rockets aren't ready to win, and they're playing a veteran-laden team. The Warriors are ready to take advantage of this youthful team, and that's what they've been doing so far. That's counteractive to my logic against the Thunder, who I don't know. Cleveland, do you believe in the Thunder yet?
They certainly looked the part, in the early going of the first round, and we're not quite 100% sure. See, here's the thing about the Thunder.
Oh yeah, here we go. What is this thing about?
Here's the thing about the
Thunder. Here's listen to this grateful wisdom, fans, about why the Thunder aren't the best team in the NBA.
If they luck up and get the Clippers,
luck up. Oh my goodness gracious!
If they luck up and get the Clippers in the second round, oh man, they are cakewalking to the finals. They'll be so rested. All kinds of protein shakes and smoothies. Just waiting to see what happens because they're just going to run roughshod over the other team. Now, if they have to get the Joker, well, that's different.
Have you heard of Isaiah Hartenstein? Have you heard of him?
Yeah.
Have you heard of my other thin man, Chet Holmgren? Have you heard of him?
Did Isaiah Hartenstein or Chet Holmgren average a triple-double for the entire season at the center position? Which means you have to have 10 assists from the center position. I don't think either one of them did that.
Well, neither one of those guys I mentioned actually played.
Or had a 60-point triple-double in their career so far.
Hey, Joker is tough, bro. Yeah, what do you do, man? If he lollygags up the court and let everybody else go into offense and let the ball just come back, swing right back to him at the top of the key, he can just shoot. He can shoot that 3-pointer at the top of the key. He can shoot the 3-pointer at on the arc on the corners. And he can just walk into it and he has a wide open shot. If he backs you down, he can shoot a jump hook. He can shoot a runner. He can shoot it off the glass. He could just take his own sweet time to try to create the shot that he feels is best. That is a tough matchup, man. That is a tough matchup. I don't know what it is you do. Do you let him go for 60? Well, if that's what Minnesota did a couple of weeks ago, let him go for 60, and the game went to double overtime. Like because he's still able to beat you like that, scoring, or he lets everybody else get involved. Like you got to pick your poison, and that is a tough thing to do with a guy like that. And you don't think Ty Lue has anything in store for him?
No, I don't think Ty Lue can come up to the huddle and draw up some play to stop the Joker. No.
So Zubac is chopped liver. Or barbecue chicken.
He's doing the best he can. He's trying to limit the damage, but we're in the playoffs now. Yeah.
Well, if we talk next week, I want to hear what you got to say about Kawhi, Zubac, James Harden, and Norman Powell, and how they're changing things. Do you have anything to say about Ben Simmons? What do you have to say about a coach who takes Ben Simmons off the scrap heap and gets 10 minutes a game from him and quality 10 minutes from him? You got anything to say?
No. Ben Simmons was the number 1 pick in the draft. If you're telling me something about somebody getting 10 minutes of productivity out of him, no. I have nothing to say about that.
Well, we see. I mean, it's been a long that
He
that
will,
number one person in the draft was a long time ago.
He will forever be understood as the person that passed when he was 3 feet from the basket. That is his legacy forever.
That wasn't a good shot for him.
At 6'10" from 4 feet from the basket, that wasn't a good shot for him.
He was looking for a better shot. You know, that's what they say in the NBA.
How much better of a shot are you going to get than 4 feet from the basket when you're 6'10"?
They say Pat turned down a good shot for a great shot, and he was passing out.
Okay, Homerville, that's cool.
Nah, that was crazy.
Wear the Ty Lue pin next time on the show. Wear the T Lue pin.
The Cavaliers and the Heat. Can the Heat win any games in this series?
Oh, for sure.
You think they can? Oh, because you don't have any confidence. You think this will go 7 because you don't have any confidence in Donovan Mitchell and Jared Allen and Mobley. No confidence in the guard.
I mean, they should fairly comfortably get through this first round matchup. But Tyler Hero's been balling. I don't know if you've been noticing. He's not playing around. And Bam's not really playing around either. So he's always going to be that anchor. He's going to give you 20 and 10. He can't give you that explosive thing as a superstar player, but he will give you that other thing. And so it's up to Tyler Hero to raise his game. And so far, he's like, I'm up for it.
Okay, we'll get to you, Vito. We're gonna have our NFL draft talk. I'm gonna have a USA Today sports writer on later to talk about draft talk. Well, for your Lions, I mean, you think they make a big move? I don't think so. What kind of big move are you expecting? The Lions are in the Super Bowl contention. I don't know. I don't see any major trades that they're gonna make. I don't see them.
I'm not quite seeing what
right
holes they need to fill. I mean,
right.
If a man Hutchinson comes back healthy, they have the pass rush that they were missing, kind of late in the season. They have lost a few free agency players moving around. I think their biggest problem is losing their offensive and defensive coordinator at the same time.
Yeah, that may hurt them like it hurt the Philadelphia Eagles a couple years ago. But I like Dan Campbell. I think Dan Campbell is a good leader, and I think he can get is. You say it from I say it from an intimidation standpoint. It's not get guys to fall in line with them. I don't think he's going to have anybody's going to join Dan Campbell's coaching staff who doesn't want to fall in line with the program or what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah, but if like Vito was saying, if they do move up to get somebody on the D line, I think that would be productive.
Right.
Not knowing enough about the Lions to say exactly what it is that they need or what it was that they were missing last year. I think last year that it was just a war of attrition, and they just weren't healthy enough to, kind of take on a very spry and overachieving Commanders team.
Yeah, there's some truth there, but with them being not holes, they can, if they see defensive linemen as a huge opportunity, a huge need for them. Only they know how Hutchinson is recovering, how he's improving, what his expectations are on the new season coming up, and they're still months away. So I don't know that they make a big move, but only they know how he's improving. And if they see fit for him, trading a 3 and a 5 to move up to a second round pick and pick up a guy that they target as their a good defender, that's not a bad move. That's not a bad move. I did see something. I don't know how true it was, but they were looking at trading Williams away, and maybe they can get a second round pick for Williams, who was their game breaker. But I'd be surprised that you're ready to trade him away.
No, they can't get a second round pick for Jameson Williams. I mean, DK Metcalf went for a second round pick.
Well,
And he's not DK Metcalf, so yeah.
I mean, I think he's a game breaker enough that
6th round.
no, he is 6. You wouldn't give him no 6th-round pick for what you call it for Williams.
That's as much as you can get for Jameson Williams, the 6th round pick.
No, I doubt that, Cleveland. I doubt that. You put him on the market. A lot of teams are going to go for the tall, fast receiver. The game.
Well, like I said, DK Metcalf went for a 2nd round pick. Jameson Williams is like at least 4 rungs below.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised the Pittsburgh Steelers pulled the trigger on that deal. If there's any team I would have confidence in drafting a wide receiver, it would be the Pittsburgh Steelers. Why they gave up a 2nd for DK Metcalf is beyond me. Yeah, I'm stunned by that.
Let's go freak. That's why.
Who you put that? Speaking of the Steelers, who do you put? Do you draft a quarterback here? You hoping the Shedeur falls to the 20s for you? Or are you happy with Aaron Rodgers?
Crossing your fingers that Shedeur Sanders falls to you at that pick.
Are you? Would you take Aaron Rodgers if Shedeur? Well, excuse me. If Aaron Rodgers came to you and said, "I want to play for the Steelers," before tomorrow night, would you still take Shedeur Sanders at number 20 if he was
available? Absolutely, 100%.
Do you want Aaron Rodgers to be your quarterback?
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's the best alternative that they have left, for sure.
Keep happy with him. I'll pass on Aaron Rodgers. But let's get back to the NBA. Let's get back to the NBA talk. Pacers and the Bucks. Indy's now up 2-0. Dame comes back, hobbled last night, obviously. Tyrese Halliburton voted the most overrated player in the league. What's your thoughts on that?
100% truth.
Oh, shoot. Jimmy Butler was undercut as he was going for a rebound, fell on looked like his butt, and got walked to the locker room. Don't know. That could be big here for the Houston Rockets. Jimmy Butler goes down.
That could be huge for the Lakers for sure.
Oh, look to the Lakers. Him and Dame clearly have a rivalry that started in the the in-season tournament. Can the Bucks come back and win this series?
I don't think so.
They're cooked at 2-0, huh?
Unless Dame can rekindle something from 3 years ago, which I'm not seeing. Just got over a blood clot, man. Really playing.
The Knicks and the Pistons. The Pistons get their first playoff win since 1998 over the Knicks. Can they pull this series off? Can they win this game? Or did they win this series, the Pistons?
They can take it to 7.
Now you got confidence in Brunson finishing somebody off.
Well, I mean, yeah, the Detroit Pistons, if they can get to the 7th game, yeah, they can get that in the Garden. Yeah.
Wait, so that's kind of backhanded compliment for the Knicks, Jalen Brunson and the Knicks?
I don't even consider it a compliment. I think they can beat the 7 games. How's that a compliment? They should beat them in 5.
They should beat them in 5?
They should.
So the Detroit Pistons, what they did this season, finished with a 4 seed. That was cute.
6 seed.
They finished with the 6 seed. Excuse me. That was just a cute finish for you.
Cute finish.
Wow. So this should go. This should go 5 games. According to how you say that.
The Knicks should win in 5 games, but I'm foreseeing it going 7, in which case the Knicks prevail in the Garden in Game 7.
It's a 20-point game in Houston right now. Jimmy Butler will not return. It's a 20-point game with 7 minutes to go in the second quarter. 20-point game. Houston's up. Uh, so you don't think? So you don't think you're not giving the Pistons any credit then for what they've done this season? You don't think the Pistons and Cade Cunningham, who can lead these Pistons to 2 wins in the series?
I think they had a fantastic regular season, much improved on the season before that. But now we're in the NBA playoffs, and they're playing a team that they're not going to beat, in my opinion.
And the Celtics and the Magic, can they win a game?
They can win a game.
They can win. Paulo gonna have to go off for 59 for them to win a game. Because they can't. Their problem is they can't score. Once they double team Paulo and get it out of his hands, I mean, Wagner, like Sabonis, is an undersized big man who gets exposed in the playoffs. They need that stuff Cole was doing to get them through the playoffs. That doesn't live in the NBA playoffs, as you keep mentioning. Contavious Caldwell-Pope. He's not the game changer. He's a player. He's a role player. He's not the game changer.
Oh wow! I like that. I like the way you say that, Cam.
He's a role player.
What you're saying is he's only going to influence the game so much, and only if the other players in front of him do what they're supposed to do, because he's not capable of really taking over a game ever.
No. I mean, we've seen that from him, but
beautiful. Again, I see your eyes opening up. It's really cool to see.
Oh, is it?
Tavius Caldwell-Pope is not going to be the difference. Orlando Magic winning the series or not winning the series.
I mean, they need a score.
Yeah, they need it. They need a go-to dominant player. Paulo's really, really good. Almost not quite there.
I mean, they need a scorer. They need somebody. They need an outside shooter who can play off of Paulo.
And it's 2-0. So yeah, all these things that they need, they're not getting it in this next 4 games. So
so they're going home. They're gone fishing. Yeah. Oh, that's cold. Cleveland's cold. What is, buddy?
It's the playoffs, man. It's a cold-blooded time of the year.
Do you notice a difference in the officiating?
Yeah,
from the regular season.
I love it.
Where they just go get them. I mean, so I think one official was caught coming out of the media room with some snacks in his hand. Like he ain't work. These guys ain't working too hard in his playoffs. You like it?
I love it.
Okay. Nico now says he didn't know how big Luka was in Dallas. Like, is Nico? Is he taking the bow and arrows for the management? It's looking like Nico did this on his own. It's looking like it's looking like he's doing this. He did this on his own. Is looking and sounding like he did this on his own. Because if he didn't do this on his own, why didn't he just say, we have bosses? We do, we have to do what our boss asks us to do. If this wasn't his decision.
So Cameron, when this whole thing came down, and you might recall we got into a little bit of conversation on Twitter. And everybody was blaming Nico Harrison for doing this single-handedly by himself. Do you recall what my statement was to that? What was my statement?
He would be the most powerful man in the NBA.
The most powerful general manager that ever graced a franchise. If you can trade Luka Doncic without anybody's permission, without anybody's sign off, with even initiating such a thing without their go see what we can get. He does not have that type of autonomy or power to do that. The fallout is what the owners are like, oh wow, because they're not basketball people, they're casino people. So they don't know.
So when he says to the casino people, I'm considering trading Luka Doncic.
No. See, you see where you got it all backwards?
No.
The casino people came to him and said, look, we're not going to give that dude $70 million a year when the Supermax comes out. What can you get for Luka? And you remember, now that all the stuff kind of comes out, a whole bunch of teams said no thanks.
No, he called.
He got the best deal he could get for Luka. Now, should he have gotten Austin Reeves? I mean, I guess.
You guess? What do you mean? You guess?
Theoretically speaking,
if Rob Pelinka, and how does Rob Pelinka get an extension? How Rob Pelinka gets an extension for what?
Because
answer the phone.
Because he traded Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis.
He traded Anthony Davis for Luka Doncic.
Thank you.
He answered the phone basically. And you guys want to give him he gets another contract. That's hysterical. I don't know, man. Nico is taking all these slings. How do you not know who Luka is? How do you not know who Luka is? That's his job to know. He started off with Nike, the marketing guy. You need to know who the hottest in the street is. How do you not know who Luka is? Or
this is unprecedented with regards to a general manager when an ownership group says, trade that dude, get me as much as you can for him. And then when that happens, because they're not basketball people, they don't really understand the culture and what's going on. And all of a sudden there's all of this backlash and they just throw Nico out there to take bullets, man.
So he's just getting shot up.
Shut up.
Okay. Well, so when they fired Nico after next season, are you going to say it was his decision then, or he didn't do a good enough job protecting himself from the bullets?
He took so many bullets that it trickled into their area, and they couldn't stop the bleeding.
So he fell on their table, and then they said, "We're out. Enough of you."
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. What else is going on in the NBA that you want to discuss?
Oh, I mean, as far as the NBA is concerned, it's just that time. It's just that time to get down, man. Who do we, who are we feeling more confident about? Is someone kind of, making a certain name for themselves? Is any of this sustainable? Because they've only played 2 games. So
who stepped up? Who stepped up to surprise you thus far in the playoffs? Anyone?
Oh, Amen Thompson is killing him, man. That dude's amazing.
Him and his brother are solid. Houston is up. I guess we're going to State narrowed the lead down. It's not 20 points no more. But Houston is up. I like Houston. I just don't think they're ready to make the noise. Again, that my argument for Houston is totally contradictory to my argument for the Thunder.
And you know what? What I am noticing about Houston on the other side is that Fred VanVleet looks very subdued down there in Houston.
He looks subdued. He looked comfortable.
Comfortable.
I mean, it's easy to get comfortable in Houston.
It's
He
easy and comfortable in Houston, and he is lounging.
Hold on, you could now you saying put on some weight? Is that what you said?
He done put on some weight. He looking around the crowd, looking for like where so and so.
Hold on. You says he's planning. He playing after parties after every game. Okay. Fred Van Vliet. He's in America. This ain't Toronto. This ain't
You see the
this ain't Toronto.
difference? In Toronto, he was like, oh, I'm hitting him. Like, wow.
No, he was excited to get to Houston. I remember he told me that. I saw him at the fight after like a week after he signed. So he was excited.
Well, now you see why.
Yeah, he was excited to get to Houston. I'm gonna let you go, but tell me what's your thoughts on Travis Hunter playing both sides of the NFL. Is this something he can do? Do you believe in he can do it? And do you foresee him doing it?
If he plays both sides of the ball, he has to be a DB. You can't play both sides of the ball if you're a wide receiver.
He can't play.
Yeah, because because if you're a full-time DB, well then there are packages that you can bring in when he's playing wide receiver, and the better that you get understand the offense, well then the more packages that you can put in. The problem with him playing both sides of the ball is that if you allow him to do that and he gets hurt, well, now you don't have a starting DB and you don't have a starting wide receiver. So you lose like two positions. So it's an incredible liability to the franchise if you allow him to do that. And plus, it's so much to learn so quickly that it couldn't be in a year. It would probably have to be over 2 years. And when you get, start doing things like changing your offensive coordinators and firing the coach, and which, when you go to bad teams, that happens all the time. Then you have to learn the whole terminology all over again. And so I think that's putting a lot on him. And I just don't think physically it's a good idea.
Do you want to see him in Cleveland or New England?
New England.
New England? What other who has the most pressure going on this weekend? Or excuse me, who has the most pressure going into this weekend? NFL type GMs. I guess it's all GMs because they're the one picking. Like Chris Greer been doing. I think Chris Greer has been controlling the Miami Dolphins picks at 12 to 17 years. One of the two. He has a lot of pressure on him. What do you say about your guys down in Pete Carroll down in Las Vegas? Do they have pressure going on, or is that a new regime? They get to take a couple times to deal with it. Do the team in Minnesota do they have to make the draft work for them? Because their first round draft pick got hurt this season. Do the Jets? Is the pressure on the Jets? Which team has? Every team has some amount of pressure on them. Who has the most pressure on them?
The team that has the most pressure on them is the team that drafts Travis Hunter.
How do they make that work?
Yeah, it's such a unique thing that they've never seen it before, and they don't even have like a blueprint for how it worked before. The closest thing was Dion, right? And Dion was a full-time corner that every once in a while came in and like ran some routes. But every time he came in the game, they knew they were throwing it to him because why else would Dion be in the game, right?
Yeah.
So whoever drafts Travis Hunter and trying to understand how to utilize him to his highest and best use, they don't really have a clear idea of that, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the story of the year. I think that's the story, kind of the story of the draft, and who actually picks Shedeur Sanders. Um, does he fall to Pittsburgh? Do the Saints pick him at 9? Do the Giants take him at 3? That's really from what I understand. My understanding, he can go from 3 to 21. Where does he actually go? Does that coaching well? Will that coaching regime feel the pressure of Deion Sanders if they don't do well with Shedeur Sanders? I don't know if that could, or will be the case.
They won't feel the pressure of Deion because he doesn't have that sphere of influence in the NFL, and certainly not when you're talking about a quarterback that is supposed to be a franchise quarterback. Just because he's not happy with what it is that you're doing with his son, yeah, that's not a thing. So not so much they don't like what he's doing with his son. Can he come and coach that team? Will he come coach that team? No.
I guarantee you the Giants are concerned with that. I am 100% guarantee you the Giants are concerned with if we don't do well in this next year, they should already been replaced this past season. I mean, it's almost that heat just multiplies.
Deion is not going to be the coach of any team and bring something out of Shedeur that no one else could do.
No. So you're missing what I'm saying. I'm not saying he will, and that's the best move. I'm saying, does his influence do they? I guarantee you, the Giants feel that way. If we take the Shedeur Sanders and we do not do well next season, they're going to lose their job. And it may not be the Deion Sanders, but they're going to lose their job. They should have been replaced this past all season. So if they do what they did this year with the number 3 draft pick of the season, they're losing their job. They're getting fired.
That's not a Deion Sanders effect, though.
Yes and no. Yes and no. It's not 100% Deion Sanders effect. I agree with you there. There is some influence there. I think the New York Giants are the ones who would suffer for that the most. Like if he went to Cleveland, are they going to get rid of their head coach next season? I doubt it. If he went to Tennessee, well, they just hired a new coach. So I don't know, but I think he can influence it that way. This weekend and tomorrow, starting tomorrow, a lot of players' lives is going to change as they head to the NFL. The Lions' Kirby Joseph, Cleveland, was slated to make $3.6 million this season. Received a 4-year, $86 million extension, Cleveland. He's going to make $21 million. So he got a bump of $17 million this offseason. What do you think about that? Did the Lions overpay for him, making him the highest paid safety in the league?
No, they know something. He fits their scheme, fits what they want to do. Otherwise, they wouldn't have done it.
Can the Giants afford to take Sanders? Jameson Wilson and Russell Wilson are not long term. They're not long term. They're stopgaps.
They cannot afford to take Shedeur because they don't believe in Shedeur, and they have so many other needs that I'm not gonna say Jameis. Russ can be a stopgap for a season and try again next year.
I mean, yeah, both of them are stopgaps. Either way you looked at it, both of them are stopgaps. But yeah, we don't know. We don't know. That'll be interesting to see how that plays out. You got anything to say about the Shannon Sharp shakedown?
No, other than Shannon Sharp has been a little bit loosey goosey out there last couple of months, man. You know,
It just caught up to him, huh?
Yeah.
It just caught up to him. Interesting.
You remember a couple months ago, he left his he leave his thing on, and everyone heard what was going on in his place of residence last time, and this is just man.
Yeah, this girl is supposed to be mad.
Asia was like, yeah, we're not talking about that.
Yeah, that girl's supposed to be mad. What happened then? Because of that happened.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, Shannon needs to change his age bracket.
Sure do.
I mean, I guess it's fun, but come on, Shannon. You can't be having to pay him off, bro. So he's changing lives, though. he's changing lives.
You try to figure it out now, right? I mean, like, you got a few too many things going on. We can't just be putting out these little immature fires here and there all the
time. Lastly, on the NFL, Cleveland, should the Falcons they trade Cousins? Should they trade him if the Steelers is poking around? Should the Falcons trade Cousins if Cleveland calls?
Oh yeah, fourth round. 4th or 5th round. If you get a 4th or 5th round for Kirk Cousins, for sure.
Get it done, huh? Send him on the way.
Considering that you guaranteed him all that money, yeah, be gone.
Yeah. All right, Cleveland, let the people know where they can find you.
At Clevie Wonder on X and Instagram. And I'm sorry. Yeah. And no. At Clevie Wonder on X and TikTok, and Cleavon still on Twitter.
Well, we thank you for tuning in, man. Appreciate your support this week. Make sure you read Cleavon's. When does the book come out? Or is this a screenplay? Excuse me.
So working on the screenplay, about 3/4 of the way done, and gonna start to shopping it here in the next couple months. But the book has been out. Life and Times of a Sports Gambler and the 44 Essential Rules for Success.
Okay. Well, shout out to Cleavon and his work that he's doing as an author. Thank you for your time, big guy. We'll holler at you in a week or two.
Holler back, bro.
Thank you.
All right.
Fans, now, thank you guys for sticking with us. If Shannon and Joy did it, yeah, probably so. Yeah, of course, Shannon, of course, Kirk should be shopped. Yes, he should be. Actually, I certainly agree with you. Fans, now we're going to play the interview that I had with USA Today's Tyler Dragon. We had the interview last week, but I'm going to play it for you guys tonight. You guys can hear it in its full, in its entirety right here. Okay, Tyler, man, nice to see you, man. Haven't seen you in a while. What's going on, Big T?
Keeping busy, man. I'm excited for the draft to be coming up here soon, less than a week. I can't wait because I feel like the build-up to this draft has been the longest ever. I'm just ready for it to get started, for sure. How have you been?
I'm well, man. I'm well as can be. Thanks for asking, man. Just trying to keep on plugging away, man. Life throws you a bunch of curves, so you got to just kind of dodge and ditch and dodge them, right, and just kind of keep moving on, man. Like that's the rage, right? So we got decent weather up here in the Northwest, man. It's been in the 70s the last couple of days. No rain. So
welcome back to the West Coast too. I mean, I'm in LA. You're in the Pacific Northwest. Oof. Welcome back to the West Coast.
Yeah, appreciate that one, bro. But yeah, you mentioned it, man. The draft. That's pretty much where we are. Free agency was hot. Let me ask you before we get to the draft, who won in free agency, do you think? Who set them up? I know you can't really get a full grade of the offseason until you include the draft. I get that. That's half of it. But who had the best offseason thus far, would you say?
Well, a lot of people are going to pick the Patriots because they spent a whole lot of money. They had the cash, and they used it on both sides of the ball, whether, it's Diggs, it's Carlton Davis. They really, Milton Williams, they fortified, some of their defensive pieces, bolstered their offense skill position group. I like what the Bears have done. not only in picking up Tooney via trade, but really bolstering their offense of
They got
line.
3
Now,
players, didn't they?
yeah, 3 interior offensive linemen. Now they need to do something with the tackle position. I expect them to draft tackle in a draft, but I like what they've done. So those 2, and then quietly, I think the Chiefs have had a nice free agency. But like you said, we got to wait until these players actually put pads on and go out and play each and every Sunday. Right now, it's just paper and a projected depth chart's what it looks right now. But those 2, and then we'll see what the. I'm so sick of this Aaron Rodgers saga.
Oh
I
man, I
can't
was trying
wait
not to bring it up. I didn't know
until
if
it's
I wanted
over.
to. I was trying not to bring it up, man.
If the Steelers end up getting Rodgers and along with a player like DK Metcalf via trade, you have to put them along with the Baltimore Ravens and Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, it's going to be a 3 horse race for the AFC North. So yes, I still do think Baltimore is the best team, but you have to think about it. Aaron Rodgers might be slightly better than Russell Wilson, slightly better than Justin Fields. So you have a slightly better, and you went to the playoffs last year. That's a slight. I'm not saying he moved. It's not the old Aaron Rodgers, but what the Steelers need. The Steelers don't need a superstar at quarterback.
He's gonna be the difference between 8 wins and 10 wins, is what you're saying.
It's good enough to get in the playoffs.
Right. Yeah, I feel that. I mean, that's a. I mean,
those teams have had better free agencies than your Dolphins. I will say that.
Well, the Dolphins are absolutely. I mean, again, watching Hard Knocks a couple seasons ago. A couple seasons ago when they watching the GM for the Giants just let Saquon Barkley walk out the room. You just go test the waters, and I'll get back to you. But just be sure to call me. That I'm convinced. I am convinced. You can't tell me otherwise that I can run a NFL squad. What Chris Greer's doing, if Chris Greer's had 17 years to get this right, come on. And in these 17 years, I don't have the list right now. I mean, I can go on about these Dolphins, but in these 17 years, you tell me how many All Pros have been drafted, or how many players that are All Pros that's still on that team. Minka Fitzpatrick, how do you let Minka Fitzpatrick go out your door talking about he's not part of your what's the word? He's the culture. He's not part of the culture. That is a culture. Walking out of that is the culture. What do you got?
Voice of the fans, listeners, this is how you become an instigator. I poured gasoline on the fire. I knew you were mad already. I just wanted to pour gasoline on the fire. I wanted to provoke you into all this. And so you're just playing into what my game and what I was doing. And now you're going off about the Dolphins.
We're done with them. I'm not even going to talk about Tyreek Hill needs to be traded. And I called this a year ago that he should have been traded then. But okay, I'm not.
Don't worry, you're just going to trade Jalen Ramsey. It's okay.
Is Jalen Ramsey overrated? Can we have that discussion?
I don't think he's overrated. He's just not the player he once was. He's a little bit older.
Okay,
now.
That's overrated.
That's not overrated.
Because they see his name and they're like, "Ooh, Jalen Ramsey, a defender."
You get old.
Super Bowl. I feel you. I totally agree with you. I totally 100% agree.
I'll say this: the Dolphins are probably deciding to trade him a year too late. They should have traded him probably last year. Absolutely. He has more value. And I don't think they're going to get a lot of value this year, especially if a team has to take on that contract.
I'm not trying to waste the fans' time listening about the Dolphins. The Dolphins stink. Chris Greer needs to be fired. Until that happens, things aren't going to happen. He can't evaluate talent. And then worst of all, they let their talent walk out the door. If you can't evaluate talent and pick off free agents from different teams, you can't let your best talent walk out of the door. A la Christian Williams. But enough of that.
You fell into the trap.
Good one. That was a good one. You caught me on that one.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about predictions though. in the trap you seem to have fell on just reading your article from the 16th, I believe it was, when you're talking about the running backs. Hey, is there a resurgence of running backs? And I believe that I believe, don't get me wrong, when we had the debate about 4.5 versus 5.0 yards per carry, I believe you said there was no resurgence in the running back era. I believe you made that mark because there's no in your. I could be wrong. If I could go back and play it, I would. In your specific words, if I remember correctly, was there's not a lot of Saquon Barkley's around, and which
okay, that's
a valid point. And I understand what you're making, but now have you seen a change in focus just in your reporting, in your research? Have you seen a change in focus in organizations' need for a running game?
Yeah, but I've always been a proponent to run the football. So you got the wrong person here. I'm always of the mindset you need to be a run first offense and then use that to build on your passing game, to use the play action pass, to open up the pass. And I like the teams that, try to be run first and then pass second. And the Eagles were that. They won a Super Bowl. You can make a case when the year before last, when the Chiefs on their run and their, back-to-back wins, especially in the playoffs, they were kind of a run first team. The Ravens, they were and probably still are a run first team, especially with Derrick Henry. So I talked to Barry Sanders this offseason, and I pretty much asked him a similar question about how the running back position, yes, in recent years has been devalued, but is coming on as kind of like a renaissance the last few seasons, especially last year, with Saquon Barkley breaking the all-time rushing record, including playoff single season.
What Derrick Henry doing was
what Derrick Henry over 1,900 yards. You see what Josh Jacobs did his first year with the Green Bay Packers, and the list goes on and on and on. Jahmyr Gibbs with the Lions. I mean, there was just so many standout performances where teams when they established a run and had a good running game, pretty much all of them were in the playoffs and were successful, had successful seasons.
When you run the ball in the playoffs, you are successful. That's a stat.
And I get it that in today's NFL, it's become pass heavy. It's a quarterback, driven league. I get that, especially with today's modern rules, all caters towards, the quarterback and the offense and the receivers. But when you're able to establish the run and have a good running game, it takes a lot of that pressure off the quarterback, especially when you have a really good quarterback. Like when you have a great quarterback and he has a good running game, that helps them even more. That elevates his game, elevates the offensive line's game, because they don't have to drop back and pass block. Sometimes they can go forward, and that gets their momentum going. That gets their adrenaline pumping. So the running game helps out so much towards an offense, and I'm glad to see like the running backs having a bounce back year after the position was devalued, because I was never of the mindset that running backs don't matter and you shouldn't run the football and you don't need a running back or a good running game. I was never of that mindset.
Okay, well, that's good to hear. I too believe in the running back and the usefulness of the running back. I don't have the stat in front of me. In fact, I wrote an article, I know about it last year, about the importance of the running back and how that running the game influences, obviously, your Super Bowl, as you mentioned, your Super Bowl chances. So speaking of that, we have some running backs that are on the board. I think that, Genty, I agree with you looking at your let the people know where they can find your work, because I've been reading it often this week as you prep for the NFL draft. But let the people know where they can find your work, Tyler.
Yeah, of course. usatoday.com. If you look at my author page, and you just / Tyler Dragon, you see all my work. Also, I publish all my articles on, I still call it Twitter, but I guess officially is X at the Tyler Dragon. I post all my articles. I just had a mock draft come out today. In fact, with Ashton Genty going within that top 10, I have him going number 6 to the Raiders.
Perfect fit for him. That's a good fit for him.
Yeah, I believe there are going to be multiple running backs drafted in the first round. I wouldn't be surprised if there were 3 running backs drafted in the first round. I have 2, but Amarion Hampton being the second. But it would not surprise me in the least if like running back like Travion Henderson still goes in the first round, and there can be as many as 3.
Henderson, you and Henderson from Ohio State before Caleb left for Iowa. I think he looked like he was a better running back than both Henderson and Hampton, in my opinion.
I don't know about Hampton.
What do you see the difference? What do you see looking at it? What is the various there? Hampton, it could be the offense that he runs. I was trying to figure it out if the offense, a little swing offense. Okay, anybody can run the ball if you just pick up some speed and rush through the hole. But my man Love is actually running counter plays. He's running NFL offensive plays. That little swinging gate offense, I think a lot of players can run that type of and get yards in that offense. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So let me be clear. My mock draft isn't my player rankings. My mock draft is what I think teams are going to do. It's not what I would do. It's what I think these teams are going to do. Now, my cup of tea, I like Ashton Genty, Amarion Hampton, and then I think there's a drop-off after those 2. I do think Caleb Johnson is a good running back. Travion Henderson, Judkins as well. I think those are kind of the next tier. And it's kind of pick your flavor. Henderson in college, he was more of that like almost Jahmyr Gibbs type. The flashy speedster, run on the outside, catch pass out in the backfield, a really good pass blocker. Kind of make you a good third down back. Now, he was like the number 1 running back coming out of high school, but I want to see him with more runs in between the tackles, get those, tough yards. And Ohio State has Judkins last year to do that. So if he can do that and develop that aspect of his game, can run between the A gap, the B gap, the C gap, and be more physical, then I believe he can be up there with, a Genty and Amarion Hampton. And Johnson, he's kind of the bruiser type. I don't see the breakaway speed, but I do see a starting caliber running back. This year's running back class is deep.
And you still haven't mentioned the running back from Iowa. You don't think he makes the cut?
Didn't I just mention him?
Caleb Love.
Caleb Love? That's the North Carolina basketball player.
Excuse me. Yeah, Caleb Johnson. I'm sorry.
I said Johnson.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I said Johnson.
My bad. That was my bad. I think that guy, you talking about running between the tackles in Iowa, that's what they do. There's no flash and dash in that.
I know, but I would like to see a little bit more flash from him. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, I thought I saw speed from him. We're gonna have to put a pin in this one because I saw more speed from him. I thought he looked like the second best back. I agree with Genty is
second best.
To Genty, yeah, in my opinion, from the guys I saw. In credit to you, in your article you wrote, you had clips. I kind of went down the rabbit hole of watching videotapes, some video on each of these running backs, and so that's where I gathered a lot of my opinions from. And so I'll mention that. But I noticed also in your mock draft, you didn't have a Mecca Egbuka going in the first round.
I know, I did not. So when I was doing the exercise, I thought about that towards the 20s too. I was like, man, I can see him being drafted in the first round. I mean, we can go through it. I think I had him like starting with like the Chargers pick, I believe. I was like, okay, I wouldn't be shocked if he went to the Denver Broncos, the Chargers, but I had Ted McMillan dropping to the Broncos. And so I believe he's going to be the first receiver taken, despite some of the noise that he may be the second or third. And then, do the Steelers really need a receiver? No, they got DK this offseason. I can see him going to the Chargers, but to me, Jim Harbaugh and that staff, they might prioritize the trenches over a receiver. And then you kind of like roll the dice here. I mean, maybe the Houston Texans could draft him, but maybe is Matthew Golden still on the board? If Golden is still on the board, the Texans will probably go with Golden because they kind of have a slot receiver. They need a speedster, especially with the absence of Tank Dell this season. And so maybe
he's done for the year.
Huh?
He did get hurt late in the year. Huh?
Yeah, he's going to be out as projected most, if not all, of 2025. Unfortunately, Tank Dell.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, when you look at the teams down the list, there's not really many other receiver needy teams after Houston in that first round. So I have them dropping.
The Rams. You don't think
the Rams could, but the Rams have some needs too on defense that they need to fill. I can see the Rams taking a flyer on them, but they got Puka Nacua, they got Devontae Adams. Those are your number one and number two receiver for the next 2 years.
Right.
So, and then they just re-signed Tutu Atwell. They believe in him. So Tutu Atwell is a solid third option, in my opinion. So,
yeah, it's about time for him to shine and earn some money too. Well, he did clearly earn some money. So, now who's the best quarterback in this draft? Let me change the way I rephrase. Let me rephrase that question. Who's the quarterback in this draft not getting the attention that is going to the one guy? Why is Sanders falling? Let me ask that before I get to the other guys. Why is Sanders falling in the draft? You haven't gone to the Saints. But
so I was going to say, to answer your question, like your first question, I was going to say he's not getting the attention. And when I say attention, I mean not getting the recognition that he deserves, not getting the amount of respect that he deserves, because I think he is being unfairly criticized and unfairly knocked. I think he's the second best quarterback in the draft. If I were the Cleveland Browns, the New York Giants, I would strongly consider drafting him. Now, I get the fact that, you're going to have a Carter on the board there, a Hunter on the board there. So, I mean, overall, is he better than those two players? No. But does he play at the premium position? Yes. And if you're Cleveland, you're going to have to draft a quarterback at some point. Right now, your quarterback room looks desolate, terrible, awful. Deshaun Watson is your best quarterback on your roster. He's not going to play next season because of his Achilles re-tear. So it's not looking good for the Browns.
But you don't have them taking the quarterback.
I would. What I'm hearing is they're not. So, and I do have them taking quarterback in the second round. I think if I had to guess, I would guess that the Browns draft Travis Hunter at 2, and in the second round they take either Tyler Shook or a Jackson Dart if he is still there. But I have Jackson Dart going at the end of the first round.
Who's going to be better, Dart or Shuck? Who do you project to be better?
Dart.
He has a stronger arm?
I think Dart has a stronger arm. He's a little bit more accurate. He can make more NFL type throws than Tyler Shook.
But you have him going to the Giants. That's a crowded locker room. That's a crowded quarterback room they have up there.
It's only going to be crowded for one season. Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, they're on very short contracts.
To sign them both, did that be
for one season? They're bridge quarterback. They're a small bridge quarterback.
Yeah, but did you need two of them? Did you need two of the same guy?
Yeah.
You need two of those guys.
They're going to
draft. What player in the draft is also not getting the attention that you think they're worthy?
I think Emeka Egbuka, like you just said. To me, he gets knocked because he was never the number one receiving option at Ohio State. You look at the Ohio State receivers; they've had a run of outstanding receivers over the years. And for him not to be the number one option, he gets knocked about that. But he would have been a number one option in a lot of other programs. And then a lot of people have him pegged as a slot receiver. Yes, he probably is better suited of a slot, but he can play an outside as well. I do think Walter Nolan, too. Walter Nolan, if you remember, he was the number one recruit, tied for the number one recruit in high school with a lot of recruiting services with another player. You know who that player is who was tied with me out of high school?
No, who's
Travis Hunter.
Oh, wow.
And he, his first few years weren't that good at Texas A&M. He transferred to Ole Miss and looked like pretty much a number one type recruit coming out. I do think he is a player that a lot is going to make a team really happy. If he can stay motivated, stay locked in, he has all the tools and traits.
Okay. Interesting. And you say Dart is the better of the two between Dart and Shuck?
Yes, I do. I believe so. I think he's the third best quarterback.
What's your thoughts on Travis Hunter playing both ways? Is this something that, is this doable? Is this better position? Obviously, kind of going back and forth. He says he's going to quit the game if somebody doesn't let him play both ways, which is kind of comedic. But I think he'd be best. You could play cornerback, and then we'll run you a few plays on offense. You're not going to be a number one receiver. You're not going and a number one DB. I think that's kind of foolhardy. I like the confidence. I certainly do. But somebody's gonna have to protect him from himself. And he keeps saying, well, Deion did it, but Deion really didn't play both sides all the time. Now he played one or two. He played a package. What's your thoughts on this situation? And what do you see? What do you anticipate? And what's the birds saying out there?
So I agree with you. One, I admire his confidence and his determination to play both ways. In the NFL, he's going to soon find out that these are grown men and they play football for a living. They live, breathe, eat football. And it is going to take an extremely unprecedented toll on your body if you play both ways full time. I think it's an unrealistic expectations to do that in the NFL. However, I do believe if I were a GM and if I was constructing a team and I had holes at both spots, I would start him at cornerback. Cornerback would be his primary position, and I would have a package for him on offense. I think that is like the best situation for him. And I say that because when I look at him play, he is the best cornerback in this year's draft and could be the best cornerback in the NFL. That type of talent. When I see him at receiver, he is arguably the best receiver in this draft. I don't think his body type and just his overall ability at receiver, he can be the best. I don't think he will ever touch being the best receiver in the NFL. I think getting tackled by not cornerbacks because he's cornerback size, but safeties, linebackers,
Right.
sometimes defensive linemen. That's going to take a toll on your body. And to play both ways, he won't be as effective if he plays 50 snaps on offense and 50 snaps on defense. He won't be effective. You want to get the best version of Travis Hunter. The best version of Travis Hunter is him playing mostly one way and having a package the other way. And the package is best as offense as a receiver and playing a majority of your snaps as a defender. But I mean, the Cleveland Browns have said, Andrew Berry even said that he would line up as primarily a receiver with the Browns. And when you look at the way the Browns are constructed, they have Ward and Newsome as your top cornerbacks. So it kind of makes sense. You don't have a loaded receiving corps, and you need more help, more weapons on offense. So I can see that, but I would just put them mostly on defense and have a package on offense.
Yeah, I think, like as you mentioned, you at this level, you want to get the best out of the kid and get maximum production. You're not in the third quarter. You're not giving maximum, or you don't have maximum production to give if you're playing 30 plays on offense, 30 plays on defense coming into this third quarter. Now these guys, you're playing with some grown men, as you mentioned. So I can't. I want to see is intriguing. It's probably the most intriguing thing, other than where Shedeur Sanders gets drafted. It's probably the most intriguing thing. But and then to see what team decides how they decide to use them. We're not going to see that until the fall comes around. What else on your mind? What else did I miss? Obviously, it's a big draft. You touched on Aaron Rodgers saga. I think the Steelers should just move on and stop dragging their feet. I can't believe the Steelers and Mike Tomlin is allowing this distance to just continue to grow. What else is on your mind? What else is another story in the NFL? Also, the rule changes. So what are the rule changes that you see impressive, or that you pick that caught your eye over the summertime, or over this offseason?
I think the rule change that still hasn't been decided. That
Did I lose you?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Tyler, I lost you?
No, I'm still here.
I'm sorry. So what are the rule changes that you saw that intrigues you?
So the overtime rule, I do like that. I think the biggest rule change that I'm still intrigued by is the tush push, the brotherly shove, whatever you want to call it, whether that's going to be passed to outlaw it or not. I know that they're going to decide at the owners' meeting in Minneapolis here in the next month. But to me, it's like, I think it's a lot of sour grapes from owners and from coaches because they can't stop it. They were talking to me and we're talking to people about, well, there's an injury risk, but there's no data to prove that. So how's it an injury risk if there's no evidence to support those claims?
Well, the whole game's an injury risk. So
exactly
to pull out one thing and try to pinpoint that. But
exactly.
So you're in favor of it. I don't mind the play. You know what's coming. Sooner or later, somebody's going to stop it. But the defense is not allowed to push their player from behind. At one point, it was illegal to push your player, the offensive player, somebody from behind to push him forward. All of a sudden, that I don't know, they paid attention in the offseason and said now they understood that now you can't push your players, so let's start pushing our players. And so they're getting away with it. The rule, when did that rule change? Let me, the first thing I can ask you, when did that rule change that allowed the offensive player to push? And then, because that was illegal for a long time. And because the defense is not allowed to push their players, do you think the offense should be allowed to push their players?
I do think the defense, I'll say this, most of the rules cater towards the offense.
Yeah.
And as a consequence, handicap the defense. And I wish the NFL would take a better look at that and make it more even. I know the fans like to see offense, points scored, big plays, big offensive plays. But call me old school. I still like defensive football. I like when the defense has a chance. I like when the defense can be physical. I hate a lot of these ticky-tack pass interference calls or defensive holding calls. I think they changed the game way too much to change the momentum of the game a lot. So I'm a supporter of the game becoming more evenly called on both sides, and some of the rules catering towards, not catering towards, but some of the rules being not so slanted towards the offense. I'll say that. I just wish the NFL could be a little bit more fair towards the defense, because a lot of rules handicap it.
Yeah, and they have been for years. But and so that's the only reason. If you ban the tush push, I mean, they already canceled the kickoff return, which was stupid. But if by banning the tush push, you start taking plays out of football. That idea I don't care for. But you do got to figure out a way to kind of stop the game. NFL's taking over on Christmas Day. You good with that? They're keeping you busy now.
NFL always keeps me busy. I stay busy, but I don't mind it.
I'm talking about the holidays, man. Thank you once again, Mr. Busy Man. I appreciate you for making time. How's the little guy doing, by the way?
He's doing good. He's walking, running now. I'm chasing him around the house.
Getting your little workout in.
Good. Oh yeah, my dad gut is gone. I got my 6-pack on now, so I'm ready for the summertime.
All right, well, that's good, man. Let the people know once again where they can find you, Tyler.
Yes, they can find me at the Tyler Dragon on Twitter, or you can look at usatoday.com /Tyler Dragon. You can read all my work there.
Well, thank you again for your time. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, there you guys have it. It was my man Tyler, just ran down the kind of a preview of the NFL draft. Hope you guys got something out of that. What I want to jump into now, fans, is we got our first sponsor here of the podcast, and I want to shout out the sponsor of the Voice of the Fans podcast. So again, we got a new sponsor, and so now at the Riverside Casino, they do fancy things such as have the Will bounce back the first Saturday every month. The last month's winner, they have the bonus Will free play and the claw machine. You guys are invited for the buffet between 6 and 9 p.m. Also, they have drawings at 6 p.m., 9 p.m., or 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m. to spin the wheel. This is at the Riverside Casino on Interbourbon Highway. Come down and check it out. You can spin the celebration wheel, for your birthdays, winter anniversary, Maverick anniversary, retirements, divorce, job promotion, but becoming a U.S. citizen. You can celebrate anything. Come down and spin your wheel. Again, this is at the Maverick Casino. So make sure you guys come down here and visit the Maverick Casino. And I'm going to tell you where it's at. The Riverside Casino is at 14060 Interbourbon Avenue in Tukwila, Washington, 98168. That's 14060 Interbourbon Avenue, Tukwila, Washington. Again, this is one of the best happy hours in the market. So make sure you come and check out the happy hour, which is 4 to 7. They have everything from taquitos to chicken quesadillas to the chicken wings that are half off. So come down, check it out at the Riverside Casino. Fans, what we're going to jump into now is Riverside Casino is sponsoring This Week in History segment. So this week in history, we have Charlotte E. Ray graduated from Howard Law School, becoming the first female African-American lawyer. That was in 4/23/1872. 4/23/1951. Students attending Moulton High School in Prince Edward County, Virginia, led a walkout to protest separate and equal school facilities. This was 1951. NAACP attorneys represented the students as they spearheaded the challenge to change the system of segregated schools in Virginia. The case, along with others, helped propel the passing of the 1954 landmark desegregation law in the United States. So the children sitting at Moulton High School in 1951 helped change some laws, guys. For April 23rd, 2007, Barbara Hillary became the first African female to reach the North Pole. April 23rd, 1972, James M. Roger Jr. becomes the first African American to be named National Teacher of the Year, being honored at a ceremony at the White House. April 18, 1981, Major League Baseball Los Angeles Dodgers rookie Fernando Valenzuela tosses his third shutout in 4 starts. In April 22nd, 1993, Seattle Mariner Chris Bosio no-hits the Boston Red Sox. April 23rd, 1939, Boston Red Sox Ted Williams hit his first major league home run while playing for those Red Sox. April 23rd, 1978, Cincinnati Reds second baseman Joe Morgan ends his record streak of 91 consecutive errorless games. 91, that's more than half the season. April 23, 1989, NFL draft number 1, UCLA quarterback Troy Aikman goes to Dallas. April 23rd, 2015, Kawhi Leonard is named Defensive Player of the Year for the first time. So Kawhi been balling over a decade now. Kudos to Kawhi. Some other miscellaneous sports news, fans, is we got Michigan's Danny Wolf is foregoing his eligibility and going to the NBA. Duke's Con Knippel is going to the NBA. I project him to be like a Danny Ainge type. Just seeing what he did in that championship game, I look for him to be like a Danny Ainge type of player in the pros. Former New York Knicks guard Charlie Ward is set to become the college basketball coach at Florida A&M. That's former pro player, so that's good for A&M. They get them some experience on the sidelines. That'll be great for them. Oh, and lastly, Florida's Alex Condon is going pro. Excuse me. So this is all the guys is going pro. Fans, if you haven't got your ticket yet, you need to get your ticket and plan to be at Fatal Fury March 2nd in Times Square. You're going to have Ryan Garcia take on Rolly Romero, and then you're going to have Devin Haney versus Jose Ramirez. You're also going to have Teofimo Lopez taking on Arnold Barbosa. This is going on Friday, May 2nd in Times Square. Also, in Saudi on Saturday, May 3rd, Canelo is fighting William Skull. So you get a couple nights of good boxing there. Put that on your calendar, and that's coming up in a week or so. Fans, I want to thank you guys for tuning into the Voice of the Fans podcast. Thank you guys for tuning into the Voice of the Fans podcast. And as you guys know, I want to leave you guys with a quote every week. So the quote I got to you, the quote I got for you this week is just, again, it's some motivation, man. That's all this is, guys. It's just to give you some motivation, get you some motivation throughout the week. Hopefully, you guys find something to inspire you guys, because we all need some motivation. We all need some encouragement. We all need some advice. And that's just what I'm trying to bring to you, fans. So with this segment here, thanks to the Riverside Casino, I'm just trying to bring you guys some encouraging moments and have some fun with the podcast. So thank you guys for tuning in. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Let me know how you're watching the show, how you're tuning into the show. Every little bit helps, fans. So if you like the content, if you stuck with us this far, go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Most importantly, hit that share button. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Voice of the Fans podcast. The quote I have for you guys now is it always seems impossible until it's done. It always seems impossible until it's done. So those dreams that you guys have, those the next step you guys want to take, the addition you want to add onto your house, the bathroom you want to remodel, the new car in the parking lot. It always seems impossible to everyone else until you do it. So get out there and do it. Make it get done. Fans, again, I want to thank you guys for tuning in to Voice of the Fans podcast. We really value your time, really value your ear. If you feel the same way, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Let us know how you feel about the podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. Shout out for Cleveland for making it in tonight. Thanks, fans. As always, I want to thank you guys for making our voice your choice. Have a good evening.